Hey, vinyl community. It's Friday, September 21st. And this is Edmonton, Alberta, Canada in September. So we're going to cut back. We're going to continue on with a vinyl finds video. But yeah, so when I mentioned the weather in my parts, be very grateful that you don't have this in September. Hey, vinyl community. I hope you enjoyed the intro. It's something different. Just to illustrate, when I talk about the weather, that's what I have to deal with in my parts. So you all can talk about the finds I get, but you all get the weather. So I would happily swap anyways. So anyways, I hope that wasn't too much of a deterrent to keep on watching, but that's what we deal with here in the prairies. So first of all, cheers everyone. I originally filmed this video at 4 in the morning. It's now 3 in the afternoon. I left work early, and my wife has gone on vacation with her parents to a much sunnier spot, and I have to work, so I couldn't join them. So I had the house to myself, more or less. My son was passed out, obviously. So I filmed a video at 4 in the morning, which I'm redoing now because doing a video at 4 in the morning, because I've talked about this before, I work overnight. I did a rare thing, and I watched the video back because I thought it was kind of suspect, and it was. It was, even by my standards, it was pretty horrible. So we're doing a redo. What's that golfing term? Anyways, you guys know, a mulligan. I'm taking a mulligan on this one. I'm doing another one. Another crack at this video. So anyways, in my last video, I said I wasn't going to film or upload another video until first week of October after our record fair, which is in 2 days. As I film this now, it's September 28th, and I'm not sure where I was going with that. But why I'm doing a video now is because the record fair is in a couple days. A lot of the finds that I've accumulated since my last video, they may or may not be here when I film the next video because they might change hands. There's a lot of horse trading at record fairs between vendors. I might decide not to keep some of these things. So I thought, while I have them in hand, I'm going to make a video and show them to you just for posterity and to prove that I'm a filthy liar. So when I say I'm not going to film a video, just don't believe me. Anyways, I hope you enjoy this one. There's a lot of stuff to get through, and I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to show you some non-vinyl finds, but hang tight there. It's some pretty cool stuff. First of all, I got a question to ask everyone. Excuse me. Has anyone seen one of these? This is from Japan. It's a miniature, well, it's not a 7-inch single. It's more like a 5-inch single or a 4-inch single. They're called pocket singles from Kushku Records. I don't know, I'm not pronouncing that. But they're called pocket singles. And I could not find any documentation of these things on the internet whatsoever. But I found this at a thrift store. It's probably a 4-inch record, 3-inch record maybe. And it's in Japanese, but the A side is I Want You, I Need You, I Love You, and the B side is the bus stop song. But if you have an automatic turntable with an automatic return, these are very difficult to play because once you advance it past the 7-inch stage, the record player wants to return the arm. So I know there's a way of playing it, I'm sure, but I can't be arsed right now, so I haven't played it. But I'm curious, has anyone seen these pocket singles from Japan? And I haven't played it, so I'm not sure if that's an Elvis song or if it's a Japanese artist doing a version of I Want You, I Need You, I Love You. I think I got the song title right. Anyways, I'm just curious, has anyone seen this? First time I've seen it, and there's no documentation on the internet. Blu-ray. I picked up Yes live at the Apollo. For those of you who might not know, well, I'm a huge Yes fan, but there's 2 versions of Yes right now. There's the Steve Howe version, which I've seen live, and it's really, it's not good. And I hate to say that, but that version of Yes is, the less said, the better. But there's this version of Yes, which has came to light in the last few years, and I believe this is the de facto version of Yes. It's John Anderson, Trevor Rabin, and Rick Wakeman. And whereas that lot over there seem very tired and going through the motions, and the quality of music is very suspect, in my opinion. All my opinion. If you disagree, make your own video and tell me what your opinion is. This version of Yes seems very lively and excited to be doing this, and this Blu-ray is fantastic. I highly recommend it if you're a fan of Yes. So Yes, live at the Apollo, which was what I would consider is the version of Yes to go with. 8 tracks. Don't fast forward, because I got some exciting 8-track finds. I got an 8-track player. I just got one recently, a newer one, and I need to film a video with some new equipment I've added. So I think that video is going to be coming, because I've added a turntable, another turntable. It was really nice. Actually, I've added two or three turntables to my collection. I got an 8-track player, so I got to film that video coming up, because there's going to be a lull where there's no finds, I'm sure. So look for that one. I got some really cool stuff to show you for stereo equipment. But 8 tracks, you know what? Billy Hurst has inspired me to. I mean, they're dirt cheap. They're like 50 cents at thrift stores or antique stores or whatever. Why not pick them up just because? Because I remember 8 tracks. That was the kind of go-to format when I was a kid. But 3 8 tracks I got of the 5 are. There's 5. I can count still. 6, 5, 6. Are standout 8 tracks, and that are very valuable, as it turns out. But first of all, I'm gonna show you the one I'm most this is tied with the one for what I'm most excited about. Is a copy of Buckingham Nicks on 8 track. Rare. I played this last night. So now I have this on at least I have one copy of every format. I have an 8 track. I have lots of vinyl, and I have the cassette tape for this. So Buckingham Nicks on 8 track, very super rare. This one is even more rare. I found this today at a little hole-in-the-wall store. But this is the quadraphonic 8-track for Black Sabbath Paranoid. Look on Discogs and see how much this one goes for. I couldn't believe it. I got this for $1 today, whatever it was. Yeah, quadraphonic. I know there was a quadraphonic vinyl that went along with this, but the 8-track? Now that is rare and goes for a bit of money. And T-Rex, the slider. So now I have Electric Warrior and the slider on 8-track. These are all beautiful condition copies. No issues whatsoever. These will play nicely. Speaking of value, actually I think I lied, because I think this one is the most valuable. If we're talking value, this is just to add context to everything. XTC Drums and Wires. This was at a thrift store last week or 2 weeks ago. It was 50 cents. This one goes for a bit of money on Discogs. One that's not so valuable, but I've talked a lot about me loving Golden Earring. It's a lonely existence in my part of the world if you love Golden Earring. You have no one to talk about it with. It's your own private little thing. But I got a copy of Mad Love on 8-track by Golden Earring. Woo! I got 2 VCLTs. One of them is in my car, and I can't show you. But it's the lovely DJ Trish Mullins. Thank you for your latest shipment of mixed CDs, Trish. They're in my car. And until you send the next shipment out, the current one stays in my car. So thank you very much, Trish. I have it. It's in my car, and I just don't want to stop the video and go run and get it. But I got it. I neglected to show it last video. I apologize for that, but I love them. Trish, you make the best mix CDs, so thank you very much. So that was the first VCLT I got. I know a lot of you people get DJ Trish's mix CDs, so I'm sure you all agree with me that they're fantastic. What a lovely woman, and she lives in New Jersey. She posts the most beautiful photos of New Jersey. You wouldn't think New Jersey's beautiful, but you know, they got the coastline there, and it's just wonderful. So thank you, Trish. Second VCLT is from Hannah, the Omaha introvert. It started off as a VCLT, then it ended up being a trade. She contacted me out of the blue, and she had found a single by a band that I love, and asked me if I had it, and I didn't have it. So she was going to send that to me, and I said, well, let me reciprocate. So I sent her something sweet. So I'm not going to tell you what I sent her because she can do that in her own video, and I don't want to ruin it. So Hannah, I hope you enjoy that, and you guys will all see what I sent her. It's pretty nice. So this is the single she sent me, is The Damned, Eloise. This is a US pressing, which I have never seen before, which makes it even cooler. This was from the album Phantasmagoria. It's often referred to by fans as their MCA years, when they signed to MCA Records and they kind of radically changed their sound. Some people don't like that sound. I love all the versions of The Damned. And I love the song Eloise. So thank you. This is an incredible gift, or trade, whatever you want to call it. I'm calling it a gift. Thank you, Hannah. I so much appreciate this one. And then while we were kind of like swapping, I guess mutually we thought, well, let's make it worth our while, because if we're going to spend the money, it's very expensive to ship to the U.S. and the U.S. to Canada. So we thought we'd make it worth our while. I think that's one of the major reasons I don't participate in VCLTs, and people have told me that it's very cost prohibitive. But thank you, Hannah. I hope the money was well spent shipping that to Canada. And Hannah, so anyways, we thought, well, let's make it mutually beneficial. Let's fill our boxes up. So she sent me The Damned and a copy of REM, Fables of the Reconstruction, which I don't have. And for as much as I love REM, I can't figure out why I didn't have this album on vinyl. I got deluxe CDs and all that, cassettes, but one of the better REM albums. How about I show you the actual front cover? So Hannah threw this in as well. Thank you very much, Hannah. I appreciate that. You guys can always send me REM albums or Damned albums, always. So that was the extent of the VCLT. So once again, it's very, I'm going to drag on too long. I always take sips of coffee, which is incredibly annoying. Out in the prairies where I live, it's dry. There's no humidity. We're landlocked. Our winters are harshly dry. Your skin just cracks and bleeds, and you have to moisturize all the time. It's very, very dry. And you've seen the beginning part of this video. We got snow in September, so it's very cold and dry, and I apologize for drinking this horrible watered down coffee, because I can't be arsed to make my own coffee today. Tim Hortons, if you're in Canada, don't be fooled that it's a Canadian thing, and you need to go there. It's cheap, that's why we go there. It's like the Walmart of the coffee world, or Primark, or we're the Target of coffee. I think I've covered the whole world for discount stores. New arrivals in the mail. Actually, first of all, and I'm going to try not to go into detail about this, I would have had a copy of Hawkwind, the Hawkwind's new album called Road to Utopia, which I got 2 days ago in the mail, and I promptly returned it to Amazon. I don't want to go too much into detail, and it's only the second time in my life I've returned an album for any reason other than defect. Is that it's horrible. And I spent $41 on it. It was $41 on Amazon pre-order. It's one single album, and it's re-recorded songs of their past, but done with orchestra, acoustic guitar. And I love when bands re-record songs and they do them differently. Springsteen does it very well, and other bands do that very well. And Eric Clapton's on it. And the Eric Clapton song is the only listenable song. The rest is, man, it's horrible. That's my opinion. Again, it's my video, my opinion. You might like it. I think it's one of the worst pieces of crap I've heard. So for $41 for an album I'll never listen to, and it's complete shit, I boxed it up, and Amazon's returning. I returned it to Amazon. They're going to give me my money back, because, man, I couldn't believe how shitty it was. That's like I said, I'm a huge Hawkwind fan too. I wasn't expecting space rock because I knew what it was, but see, here's the thing. I think they signed an incredibly restrictive contract with Cherry Red Records, which is their label. For some reason, they're releasing an album a year now, which they never really have done in a long time. They must have some super restrictive contract where they have to release an album a year, so they recorded this piece of crap. I mean, good on you for having Eric Clapton on it, but I want my $41 back, Amazon. Not that it's your fault. Dave Brock, I want my $41 back. Death Angels Act 3. Brand new modern day reissue of this album, because I will never spend the money for an original copy on this because it's very expensive. But music on vinyl, my very, very, very favorite reissue label, which I should do a video about. I love this label, reissue label. They've reissued Act 3 by Death Angel, probably one of my most wanted metal albums. And Death Angel being probably in my top 5 favorite metal bands of all time. Really quickly, it's called Act 3. It's their third album. And they had, their first 2 albums were on Enigma, and then they signed this big major label deal with Geffen. A lot of those thrash bands where Metallica broke big, major labels were signing up any thrash band. So Geffen, the label, the home of Guns N' Roses, signed Death Angel. And this was their kind of going to be their breakthrough album. And then the band got into a horrible tour bus accident where a lot of the members were seriously injured, and the band broke up. So they had this fantastic album, and then they had to break up because of injury, and they just kind of lost the will, and they reformed many years later. But this was the Could Have Been album, Act 3 by Death Angel. Great, great, great album. Sorry for the edit there. I had a phone call I had to take. I filmed this on my phone, and I had to take the phone call. So, yeah, sorry about that. I hate making edits. What a pain in the ass. Anyways, speaking of Amazon, I'm going to talk about this album. The super deluxe edition of U2's Songs of Experience. Let's have a talk about this album. In my local area and on Amazon up until recently, this was about $100. I know I saw when I was out in a boat last week at record stores. By the way, a lot of people think Canadians say a boot. We don't. Maybe in the Maritimes they do. Or we say a. That's like saying all Americans carry guns. It's not true. Anyways. One store had this at $104.99 and another store had this at $109.99. So I went on to Amazon and they had dropped the price down to $34.99 Canadian, which is about $5 American, give or take $25. So this is actually cheaper than the regular vinyl edition that's on Amazon Canada right now. So this is the super deluxe edition of, this might be my screenshot. And it is deluxe. It's packed with so much stuff that you'll never use. But for $34.99, I've been waiting this one out to drop. But I didn't think it was going to drop to that much. In fact, if you go on Amazon Canada right now, it's still, I think, $35. And you know what? You know what I'm going to do really quickly, just to be a completist, and I don't want this video dragging on too long, is if you don't have this super deluxe edition, I'll show you what's in it. It comes on what they call opaque blue vinyl. It's a double vinyl. Huge poster. Huge kind of newspaper-ish thing with lyrics and whatnot that I'll never open. There's the cover for the vinyl. I'm being really clumsy, sorry, but it was $34.99 or whatever. What else is in here? Oh, just extra inners. That was nice of them. So there's the actual vinyl itself with the second vinyl inside. And then it comes with the CD. Kind of how, if I can get it back in place, there's the CD there. Which I don't know, I may or may not open. So what I'm going to do for you, I've done this before, is I'm going to give you the download code, because I will never download this album. So for the first person who gets this, make a comment below that you got it and you redeemed it, so people aren't running around wasting their time. So the website, what's the website? Redeem.thesoundofvinyl.com and enter this code. Freeze frame that sucker. So anyways, yeah, let everyone know that you got this. So anyways, I'm a giver. I'm giving to you. U2's new album. You know what? The album's okay. I had to have it. I love U2, one of my favorite bands. And I think that I've said that 3 times today about bands. They're one of my favorites. I have lots of favorites, okay? You guys know that. But anyways, Amazon dropped that to $34.99. I think it's like $1 more now, but jump on it. Even with shipping, It's way, way cheap, and it's like I said, it's cheaper than the regular vinyl right now. So yeah, so I got the deluxe edition, super deluxe edition, as they're calling it, of U2 Songs of Experience. All right, that's it for the new vinyl. I'm gonna try to breeze through this. These are all thrift store finds. A couple came via a trade today. And if you're on the YouTube vinyl community on Facebook, which I have nothing to do with, I'm just a member, I don't run it. It's just a point of reference. A lot of people I know who watch my videos are on that vinyl community page on Facebook. I don't even know where I was going to go with that. I had something to say and it left me, which was what happens when you get old. On the YouTube vinyl community today, I put this out there. I had a trade going, and I had to pick one album for this trade that I was going to get back in return. And the choices were a 1962 Columbia 2i pressing of Miles Davis' Sketches of Spain. I'm concerned about that blank out I had there. I had something and then things kind of went in my head. I don't know. Maybe I have some kind of, Anyways. 1962 Columbia 2i pressing of Miles Davis' Sketches of Spain. Or I could have picked an original pressing of Graham Parsons' Grievous Angel. So I put it out there. I wasn't seeking people's feedback of what I should do, but I kind of put it out there because I kind of knew what I was going to go with anyways. But I put it out there as a question on this vinyl community page. What would you pick? And it was kind of split right down the line. Maybe a few more towards Miles. So I was kind of reading the comments as I was going to do this trade there. So here's my pick. I got both. How's that? I got a 1962 Columbia 2i pressing of Miles Davis' Sketches of Spain. And actually, I like this album. I know Jeff Party, I believe it was Jeff Party, if you're watching this video, you had commented that this album didn't grab you. It didn't grab me initially, but then I got a remastered copy on CD, and I re-listened to it, and I think with age, I think my ears have got a little bit more mature and a little bit more accepting of sounds that I kind of didn't like earlier in life. So I really loved this album. So I got this in a trade, Columbia 2i pressing of Miles Davis' Sketches of Spain. This is a 1962 pressing, I believe. And then, like I said, I was going to go, it was a kind of a one-for-one trade or whatever it was, but I ended up working a deal where I got an original pressing of Graham Parsons' Grievous Angel. Maybe this is my screenshot. I don't know. Who knows? I never know. It's kind of clickbait material. Everyone knows that when you do a screen capture photo on your videos, you got to grab people. People work hard on those things. I don't work so hard. There you go. Maybe that is Graham Parsons, Grievous Angel. I've said this many times. Over 22 years working and owning record stores, I've had a lot of staff members, and I was always tending to hire very eclectic people. Just different areas of specialty. This person's into folk and country and metal and punk, and it's good to surround yourself with different kinds of people. And this album was very. I knew Graham Parsons, but I wouldn't give it the time of day. And then I had a staff member, I can't remember her name now, who used to play this album in my store all the time, and I really grew to love it. So that's an original Reprise Records pressing of Graham Parsons' Grievous Angel. I'm not sure how I pulled off that one, but I'm a very good negotiator. That's just years and years and years in record retail, dealing with record labels and trying to get better deals. If you're in the record industry, you'll know what I'm talking about, the record retail business. You got to work labels. You got to work Sony and Warner and Universal and all those labels back in the day to get better deals on records. So you got to be a good negotiator. And God, did that pay off today. By the way, Cheap Trick. I found my Cheap Trick shirt. I'm in a super Cheap Trick mood lately. I don't know why. But anyways, are you ready for this one? I had no idea this was worth so much money. And when I speak value, like I said, it's just to add context to the find. But I found this today. We're into Are we into thrift store finds now? We're into cheap thrift store finds. Bob Seger, back in '72. This is the only release in Canada of this album. It only got one issue, and this is the one on Reprise Records. This is an original. What is this? This is Palladium Records, distributed by Reprise. I had no idea how much money this was worth, but I went on Discogs just to kind of get an idea when I found it. Bob Seger back in '72. I've been finding a lot of good Bob Seger albums lately, his older ones. Last video, you recall, I found a copy of Smokin' Ops, Smokin' OPs, call it what you will. And I found this today, back in '72, Bob Seger. Very excited about that one, and it's a punch-out copy, but whatever. This was just dumb luck, because you all know that I've been talking a lot about Mott the Hoople. They're like in the last 6-7 months, they're a band that I've kind of taken on as well, I don't know if taken on is the right word, but I've grown to, I've always liked Mott the Hoople, but I've been really getting back into their music in a huge way. But I found a copy of The Hoople today, and the big songs off this one is the Golden Age of Rock and Roll, born late '58, I think. I can't remember what else was a single, but I didn't have this Mott the Hoople album. So this completes my Mott the Hoople collection of their CBS albums. Today, I posted this in the vinyl community on Facebook, so you probably saw this when I posted a photo of me at the store finding this. It was a copy of Bob Dylan Saved, his religious years, but it's Bob Dylan, and it was like $2.99, and it's in the shrink as well. Bob Dylan doesn't make a whole lot of crap. There is some crap out there, but I think this is a very underrated album, Saved by Bob Dylan. I'm trying to rush through the stuff now because I'm figuring this is going to go long. Some incredible jazz finds, and I am going to talk about this. Archie Shepp, Mama Too Tight, an original Impulse record gatefold pressing. Is this Canadian? This is a U.S. Impulse Records pressing. And then I also found at the same thrift store, these are all super nice copies, Archie Shepp, On This Night. Here's the quick lowdown on Archie Shepp and why it's kind of these are really sought after, more or less, kind of, sort of. But here's the cool thing about Archie Shepp and why he was on Impulse Records. John Coltrane, I think we've all heard of John Coltrane, was a massive fan of Archie Shepp. He got him his deal at Impulse Records. Archie played on A Love Supreme, but he didn't make the final cut. The tracks he played on didn't make the final cut. Fast forward to the 2000s, and then Sony or CBS Sony did a deluxe version of A Love Supreme, and they reissued those tracks with Archie Shepp on it. And then Archie went on to play on John Coltrane's Ascension album, which I love. A lot of people, the first side of Ascension is standard Coltrane that you would love, and the second side of it is more free jazz stuff, and a lot of people don't like that. It's a very challenging listen. But Archie's on that album, and he's still alive. He's 81 years old, and I hope he's still playing. So anyways, Archie Shepp, Mama Too Tight, and On This Night, original Impulse Records gatefolds. That was amazing finds. And I'll get to this, I'm going to try to hurry this up here. I got an upgrade copy of Laurie Anderson's Big Science, which I love. I love Laurie Anderson. This, Home of the Brave, I love. But this is a much needed upgrade. The vinyls on this one's much nicer than the one I have. So this is her first album, and this has the song Oh Superman, which was a huge hit in England. I think it went to number 2 in the charts. But very, very great album by Laurie Anderson. If you haven't heard this album, it's a listen. You gotta listen to it. It's a challenging album. She's kind of like performance art, but it's worth your while if you want to invest time in it. All right, we're down to our last little batch here. Let's go make some clean up here a little bit. Last Saturday, my wife wanted to go to a farmer's market in a small town outside of my city. And it was snowing. It was that day that I think it was the day. It was like the snow I showed you at the beginning. And it was cold and wet snow, and it was miserable, and she wanted me to come with her to this farmer's market. So we did the farmer's market thing, and she bought what she wanted and sampled what she wanted, and that was fine. That was all good. And then there was a lot of vendors that were outside with tarps on them because it was snowing. And I posted once again. I posted a photo of this in the vinyl community on YouTube, the YouTube vinyl community on Facebook. See, I'm trying to rush through this, and I'm turning into mush mouth. And a guy there had crates of dollar records, and a lot of the records were kind of bog standard records that I have. But I found, I believe, 4. I can still count 4 records for $1 each, which was fantastic. I was very excited to find these. First of all, after years and years and years of not being able to find this record, and a lot of people have told me via comments, leave a comment, that this is kind of one of their grail items. And this is the 3rd copy I've found in the last 12 months. But this is the nicest, this is the be-all, end-all copy that I'll ever own, because it's absolutely clean as a whistle. Dolly Parton's Jolene. The 3rd time I'm showing you this. So the other 2 I can part with now. This is, like I said, the cleanest copy of Jolene I've ever found. And maybe one of only a couple of Dolly Parton albums I'll have in my collection, because I love the song Jolene. In fact, my most watched video on YouTube, this is before I made vinyl videos, is I have a copy of this on 45 on 7-inch single, and I slowed it down. You know, when people were slowing down Jolene and playing it. But I think 16,000 to 17,000 people have watched my video of Jolene slowed down. Have a look. Many years ago. Anyways, the be-all, end-all copy of Dolly Parton's Jolene. Fleetwood Mac, Mystery to Me. This is featuring the Bob Welch and Bob Weston years. Maybe one of the more underrated albums by Fleetwood Mac, because it's not Buckingham Nicks and it's not Peter Green. This album is well worth a listen. Look at the cover. Weird cover, great album. Fleetwood Mac, Mystery to Me for $1, as was Jolene. We're down to our last 2. Joan Jett, I Love Rock and Roll. An album every single person, every one of you, where are you? There you are, needs to have this album. It's easy to find, but everyone needs I Love Rock and Roll by Joan Jett. Crimson and Clover's on it. I Love Rock and Roll. I don't know what more to say about that for $1. This one's, it's sealed. In England, there's a huge various compilation series since the mid-'80s called Now. Now that's what I call this. Now that's what I call this. Now, and then they number them. So, you know, now 100, now 102, you know. And that was more or less a UK thing. And I guess in Canada we adopted that. Now that's what I call series. And some people have told me when I posted this on my Facebook page, a lot of people told me they've never seen this before, people from the UK. So this is called Now That's What I Call Rock and Roll. And here's one for you Canadians, an A&A price sticker. Remember A&A? One of the first record stores I ever went to. This is sealed. And it's a great rock and roll compilation. I'm going to open it right away, and I can really see this as being a compilation I play when I'm just kind of cleaning records and stuff. It's got, like, you know, Swinging Blue Jeans, Hippie Hippie Shake, Manfred Mann, The Human Beings, Nobody But Me, The Outsiders, Time Will Let Me, Wild Thing, Junior Walker, and the All-Stars Shotgun, Devil with a Blue Dress by Mitch Ryder, the Standells, Dirty Water, which is great. I don't have that on vinyl. You know, you get the drift. The Kinks, You Really Got Me, Ballroom Blitz, Louie Louie, Wooly Bully, The Hollies, Long Cold Woman, I Fought the Law by Bobby Fuller 4, Grand Funk, The Locomotion. You get it. You know, sealed for $1. Just a nice compilation to play. All right, we made it. This might be a long one, but like I said, this is a surprise video, and I wanted to show you all this before I kind of decide what's going, what's staying, what's being traded, what's being sold, blah, 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 blah. One last thing, if you made it this far, I really do apologize for not responding to your comments on my last video. Life got really, really hectic really quickly. I started a new position at my job. My wife left on vacation for a week. So, you know, I had to run the house on my own with my son, and, you know, school starting, and it just got really hectic. I read all your comments, I did, but I love to respond, and I didn't, and I apologize for that. That makes, when people don't do that, it comes across as very kind of elitist, and you guys all know I'm the furthest thing from that. So I really apologize for that. That was very wrong of me. So I'm sorry about that. You guys understand life gets really really busy. And then comment, and I got this record fair in 2 days, which is a monumental task to get ready for when you've been sick, and you know, it's been really hard on me. So like I said, please accept my apologies. I'm very, very sorry for that. Like I said, record fair in 2 days. Hopefully my next video will be of things I pick up there. I'm not looking for a whole lot. I'm looking for most wanted items. You can't see it, but there's my legacy box. I refer to almost every video of the singles that are most meaningful to me in life that I'll be leaving to my kids and wife if and when I pass away. Well, I've talked about this box. I'm looking for I'm about down to my last 5 or 6 singles that I need, and I'm hoping to add to that to lower that number at this record fair, and I'm sure I will. So there you go. That's what's going on. Like I said, I've added some stereo equipment that I need to show you all because it's some really cool stuff I got. I think I already said this one. I've got another 2 or 3 turntables. Just, you know, cause I get them for nothing. People give me their turntables. Yeah, no, it's a horrible problem to have. Anyways, from David Michael, aka Nazz Nomad, I want to say thank you to everyone who's watching. I really do appreciate it. Leave your comments. Give it an up. Give it a down. I don't give a crap. Subscribe. Why not? Anyways, from me, from Cheap Trick, from ET, from all my vinyl sitting around here, right behind me is about 35 boxes of vinyl for the record fair. I hope to see some of you there and come by and say hi, but I probably won't be at my table. I'm going to be shopping for records the whole time because I'm sick in the head. Take care, everyone. We'll see you next time. Thank you very much, everyone.